Another day, another bout of exploring these tunnels. Okay, need to be able to jump even higher to see what's further up in that direction. Guess we're going back to the right for now. Again, part of me would kind of like some more detail on the maps. Not that more detail in the other Metroid games we've gone through helped all that much when I wasn't sure where to go next. Still, at least something to show where doors are would help keep me from wondering if a hallway was a dead end, or if there was a door that, for some reason, didn't open last time we were over there. And of course, I forgot that going through the pipe maze just leads us somewhere we could have gone conventionally. If there is anything else in this room, I can't think at the moment where that might be. The game does a good job of hiding its paths, and while I can feel an itch at times that we can keep moving in a particular direction, sometimes the itch is wrong, and sometimes I just don't feel it when I probably should. Definitely more damage than I probably should have taken in that hallway. Still, we can take those kinds of hits, and I got the feeling this is the way to the next important thing. Or I could just be going through a thoroughly explored dead end with no extra paths. It's not like I wrote down notes about that kind of thing as I played. Yeah, this is definitely pretty familiar looking. Oh, please tell me I'm actually gonna discover something going this way and I'm not just wasting time and health. Of course, with my general luck, that's probably actually going to be the case. Definitely feels like I'm losing more health than I should going through an area with nothing left to give us. Still, we'd probably be just as likely to get mangled going back as we would going forward. So all enemies stop moving the moment they're off screen, even if some can still keep shooting at us from that far away. That's a bit bullshit. And here I was hoping we'd somehow manage to heal a bit on our climb upwards. Instead we got even more damaged. Definitely not helping my self-confidence for when we finally get to Metroid Fusion. I'm pretty sure by most measurements, that game is among the toughest of the 2D Metroids. Wasn't expecting to find a way upwards, but I certainly appreciate the fact that we now have an unexplored area to head to instead of us just aimlessly wandering. Did I vaguely remember this path from a previous playthrough? Or was this just a matter of luck? Regardless, I most certainly appreciated the healing there. As useful as the sprint button was for us there, that doesn't change the fact that I don't think it really added all that much to this game as a whole. And given the fact that I've yet to see any other Metroid game have a sprint button, I'm pretty sure the game designers agreed with that. Anyway, we just sprinted our way to the speed booster. That should open up a few paths for us. Excuse me for not being especially interested in the lava starting to rise the instant we got the speed booster. It's not even like we needed the extra urgency since we had the sprint just to get down here in the first place. Ugh, we'd have held that button on the way back up anyway. Yeesh! I seem to be taking absolutely every hit in this clip, aren't I? Well, even if the map doesn't tell us where we need to go with the speed booster now in our equipment, at least we don't have to go all that far for a save point. No clue why I didn't just go for the save point right then and there, but at least it didn't take me long to make that decision. Still, doesn't look like I'm fully on the ball with this recording session, and I don't think the next one I'm gonna be performing all that well either. Maybe I'm just overly pessimistic. Sure, due to numerous factors, it felt like I did better in the previous Metroid titles in terms of combat, and I'm not especially impressive when it comes to the non-combat portions of this game either, especially the platforming. Still, we've gone through some rather tough situations so far in this franchise, and now I've unintentionally lowered my own morale some more, since we had to use cheats to get through 2 of the 3 games we've gone through to get this far into the series. Well, at least I can figure out some exploits for some of these enemies. That's gotta count for something. Though me getting in the way of an easily dodged crawler doesn't really count for much of anything. You'd think me taking unnecessary damage would stop feeling so embarrassing considering how frequently it happens in the... Okay, was honestly expecting a single charged shot to take one of those hopping bastards down. And And again, I take damage for the sake of grabbing a healing item that doesn't make up for the damage we've taken. After all the games we've done in this series so far, you'd think I'd have learned patience. Especially since there's no reason for us to hurry. Definitely was too much to hope that I'd somehow manage to get by that crawler unscathed. Sure, it didn't do too much damage to us. Still, the less damage we take against the easy enemies, the less worried I get when we come across something major like a boss, or something moderate like those hopping bastards. Didn't even need anything to push me into the lava, I just went there on my own. Definitely getting a little ridiculous here. Again? You've got to be kidding me. Here I thought we were going somewhere new, and it turns out to be another dead end. Well, at least that doesn't seem to be a dead end. And we immediately get what we needed to get through the barrier just above here. Certainly appreciate that. Doesn't change the fact that I'm impatient enough to just take a hit like that. Though, considering my usual dodging abilities in this game, I have no clue how I managed to dodge that fireball on the first floor. That just looked way too smooth considering how I move around in this game in general. Right, and I still managed to take a few lava baths while in here. Still, progress is progress. Would have been embarrassing as hell if my panicked bombing managed to bar us from moving forward this way, assuming forward is the right way to put it. After all, despite trying to go through territory we've never been to before, we ended up in a territory that's pretty familiar to us. Apparently dealing with the lava obstacle course up there was pretty pointless. Not even a minor upgrade for us after that bit of trouble. While we can turn on and off some upgrades with this screen, I don't see too much point in that. I suppose the high jump occasionally trips us up, but otherwise we don't have all that many issues even as we jump too high. Or at least the issues we have are more due to the fact that I'm not all that good at platforming around here, and this game has quite a bit of platforming to go through. Anyway, that save was just so we won't have to go looking for the ice beam again. It doesn't really feel to me like we've made all that much progress at the moment, though maybe that has more to do with the fact that I got way too used to how much progress we were making in the opening hour of the game, that when things slowed down to a more reasonable level, it feels like we're being bogged down. Still, with things slowing down, it's easier for me to get more annoyed with some of the flaws of this game. The map issues are technically minor, and the later games did give more details in the maps, but it's still an issue in this landmark game, so it's worth mentioning, even if it's far less annoying than the convoluted crap we dealt with in the 3DS game. The firing rate for our character is a bit annoying, as is the fact that we can't always see the shots we send out as they fly through the air. Again, pretty minor, and things that would be dealt with in the later Metroids based off the skeleton Super Metroid gave the series. And again, I'm amazed those are the only things I feel all that inclined to complain about in this game. Every other issue has been with the way I've been playing it. Seriously, the only gameplay issues I've got are minor details. The art direction is so good that even when the series went to 3D, they drew on this game for inspiration, taking little to nothing from the original and the Game Boy version of Metroid 2. At best, they just look to Metroid 2 for the alternate Metroid forms whenever those are needed for a remake, or when those creatures would make some measure of sense in that particular adventure. I suppose part of me is hoping there's going to be a good amount of innovation when I get to Metroid Dread, not because what the series came from is bad. Far from it, this is hitting all the right notes. I would just like a sense that for a two-dimensional entry that released a grand total of 27 years after the landmark title, that there'd be more of a difference than just incremental stuff. Something to show that the series has done more to evolve since then than just improve the visuals while keeping the same, mostly visual style, or incorporate more precise aiming, now that they can work with control sticks. It's not that I would find Metroid Dread disappointing if they didn't change things much from what has been done earlier in the 2D section of the franchise. Just say it would make it feel more likely that there's gonna be more 2D entries in the series. It feels like they're doing more than just adding little bits and pieces and tweaking what Super Metroid put on the table. Seriously, just compare how many Legend of Zelda games there are to how many Metroids are out. That kind of feels like a more fair comparison to me than looking at how many Mario games there are. After all, there are a good amount of exploration bits in various Legends of Zelda games, even if they're in different genres. It certainly took me long enough to figure out how to get to this room. And now we've gained the ability to shoot through walls. At the very least, there's a gate or two we can open now. Oddly disappointed we didn't get an explanation for that upgrade. Pretty much every upgrade we've gotten is pretty self-explanatory at this point, with the exception of the Vieira suit and the Spazer. And apparently I managed to misremember what the Spazer does. I thought it was the shot that goes through walls, not extends the size of our beam so we don't have to be quite as accurate. Still, an important upgrade to be sure, but not one that will open up a new path for us like I had hoped. Well, there's still sections of the map we haven't gone to in this area, but I don't know if we've got the right tools to open doors there. Partly because this map doesn't even show the doors. Not regaining much energy, but I'll take what I can get. At the very least, we have the means to climb back up with the ice beam. Have I mentioned that precision platforming is not my thing? least it didn't take all that many tries to get to the top. Got no clue why I tried to use a bomb when we want to go further up. And of course, I'm caught completely by surprise by enemies spawning from the pipes. Ah, well, at least we made it to new territory. New territory where there's hazards above and below us. And now I'm completely losing track of where Samus is as we're getting bounced from one bit of damage to another. If there was a time to turn off the high jump, this hallway is it. Okay, despite not turning off the high jump, we got through that reasonably well. Just need to get to that nearby save point and call it a day. Considering how that door locked behind us, I'm sure next time we'll have a pretty eventful clip.